What is up, everybody? I am back with another video. Today I will be operating the 757 from Newark to Chicago, so that'll be a pretty interesting 2.5-hour flights, right? But anyway, yeah, and as you can tell, I am in prepared for this trip because we don't really yet have a high fidelity 757 on the market in Microsoft Flight Simulator just yet. There is one on the way though, and I've seen the pictures of it. It looks really nice, and more on that later. But anyway, let's review before we start, let's review our flight plan and other things, just to see how our trip will be looking. Oh yeah, that too. If you guys notice that the audio kind of cuts out once I open a new page. I don't exactly know why. That's a thing in Prepare 3D, and I don't know if it's whether or not a setting in which I can disable that, and I will try to figure that out at another time. So anyway, yeah, I just filed this flight plan. So yeah, let's take a look at all the basic things first. Our routes, runways, and everything. We will take off runway 29 out of Newark, and this is our routes here. Vector departure. Alright, and that's cool. Let's take a look at our fuel. 23,000 pounds, 23.6 thousand. 176 passengers. And I think that's close to the max amount of seats in the airplane as it is configured, I believe. Oh, silly me, I'm not actually recording my Explorer page because OBS is acting a little difficult right now. So let me try to reopen it. I thought I was. I guess not. Alright. Yes, this is not. Alright, there we go. Got it working now. So, yep, as I mentioned, here's our number of passengers over here. And here's our fuel. Here's our fuel. Alright, perfect. All good so far. Let's take a look at our weather, see how things will be looking. So we will have a little bit of a bumpy departure, considerably, considering the winds over here. We have a little bit of a tailwind going over here. 11 knots, gusts to 22. But our visibility is not a problem. So the departure is not going to be too bad. Not going to be too crazy. And if we take a look at our destination, see how our arrival will be looking. We have a little bit of wind gusts there too, gusts to 15 knots, but it is not as bad. Winds are a little bit calmer there. Once again, the visibility is not an issue in O'Hare, as predicted. And we can also take a look at our alternates, which is a little bit windy there as well. But once again, no issue with visibility. So that's what we have to consider for today's flights. If we go to the maps and take a look at things from, take a closer look at what our turbulence will be looking like here. Shall encounter turbulence during our arrival here, as we can see. So we will be right here. Shouldn't encounter too much. That's flight level 400 and down to 16,000. So shouldn't encounter too much turbulence. But yes, as I mentioned earlier, windy arrival. So we have to be mindful of that during the approach. So that's how our weather will be looking. Let me close this now. We can pretty much start preparing the aircraft for departure. Make sure I had that cockpit door open. Let me let's first let's come over here. You can see we have the current nav data. Today is May 11th, Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Perfect. We're in Newark, of course. I've mentioned that plenty of times. And we're heading to O'Hare. Our flight number today is United 2698. And that is an actual flight operation number for this specific trip in real life. Perfect. And let me double check, make sure we're connected. Yep, we're on VATSIM. Let me tune the frequencies. Almost forgot to do that as well. Not really such a big deal right now. Yeah, let's do that now. Let's tune tower. We don't have our frequency. I don't know if I'm not even recording the vPilot page. Yeah, let me show you guys. Yep, we do have tower online. So let's get that on our radios.
Okay, United 135 Heavy, roger. Got your request for runway 4 right. Stand by for coordination, please.
Roger.
And of course, the guard on standby. No, we put it active on radio 2.
And United 135 Heavy.
At this point,
unfortunately, due to my MBI, my SOP, I'm not able to accommodate runway 4 right. You can re-vector yourself for runway 22 left again. Another attempt, Newark wind tree 0011 gust 22. That provides you the best headwind component and crosswind component for your landing performance.
Yeah, 135, can we landing at the runway 29er?
And United 135 Heavy, affirmative. You are available to if you're available to land runway 29. The available landing distance 6,700 feet is available. You can enter a however you want to fly, whether you want to fly the RNAV Whiskey to runway 29 or the Stadium Visual to runway 29. Just report once you're established, please.
Quite unfortunate.
Roger. report on the publish.
There we go. The
9135.
Alright. That fuel truck there. Just step away for a second. And we have 23,000, so I will add 18,000. That actually goes through, and I'll just bump it up a little bit. The fuel truck is in a weird spot. Does come to weird spots in this airplane, but let's ignore that. And when that fuel truck leaves, we can start boarding our passengers. Alright. But anyway, while waiting for that, let's enter our departures, arrivals, everything. So let's enter our routes. So after, let me go to that page. After takeoff, go vectors to Kodak, we have the Newark 5 departure, and Quebec 436 to Emma and wind 2. And we will enter that manually, since we unfortunately do not have any type of uplinking system in the Captain Sim 757. I keep saying Cote as well. It's Colt. Pretty sure they just pronounce it as Colt. For that 436. Now I hear that field truck pulling off. At this point, we can now start our boarding. Now start the boarding process. I'm gonna get the necessary doors open. I think they'll use entry door 1 or 2. I'm not 100% sure. Alright. Definitely open these cargo doors. Get those bags on board. And I'll attach the truck now, just for faster departure times. And I just forgot, kind of. Alright. Runway 10 center in O'Hare.
Hello, Captain.
And
we are ready for pushback.
Well, the transition is Emma. Let me actually enter that. Enter, so there's our transition. There we go.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
I don't really know where Dixon came from. But let me check on the route, shall we? Because we go Quebec 436 to Emma. Or let me actually, because the route planning in this airplane is just a little bit funky. Not like it all that much. So we'll just be into it because they tried before, but there's no real way to clear those weird discontinuities. Or maybe there is, but I forgot. So let me just enter everything. Newark 5, runway 29. And next we have Colts. You know what, since I'm entering the airway, I'll just enter in there manually and forget about entering it as a transition in the arrivals page. Yeah. Departures arrivals. 10 center. Via wind 2. And that's our routes. We will call that a day. Alright, the performance page. I will come over here. Let me actually say
that 135 highway is double shot. Is pressing visual approach runway 29.
I wanted to do
United
is
135 Heavy, Newark Tower, Newark wind
configurations again.
30011, gust 22, runway 29, clear to land.
29 clear to land.
Yeah, the fuel truck did not actually load the fuel. Integration, JSX integration does not really work this airplane. So I'll enter it manually. I'll enter 24,000 pounds. In here, our payload, our land payload. No. Actually, let me just enter the cargo and number of passengers. And that will calculate the payload, crew payload. Alright, so our cargo, I just skip over that. I don't really look at it. 10.3. 10.3 for our cargo. No. Sake. Ooh. Take 5. Let's just make it easy. 5 and 5.3. Oops. There we go. Make things simple. And I will fill up the economy. Let's do business first, because business boards first in real life, of course. Realistic. And 156. We'll fill the economy all the way up. Perfect. And we take a look outside. Yeah. GSX is way off in this aircraft. Don't know why. But we will pretend we did not just see that. Fuel payload passengers.
And United 135 Heavy, Newark Tower, well done. You can taxi to park via Romeo Mike there at the end, Bravo.
Romeo Mike, then Bravo, United 135 Heavy.
A little bit sporty, yeah?
Alright. Now we can come over here.
Newark Tower, good afternoon. Delta 131 is requesting IFR to Philadelphia, please.
Delta 131, Newark Tower, good evening. Clearance on request, standby.
Alright, so let's enter 0 for weight first. That's 170.1. And put that here. Oh, wrong place.
Newark Tower, United 275 is at Flicker for RNAV X-ray runway 29.
Reserves if I take a look in here.
United 275, Newark Tower, good evening. I see you there about 20 south of the field. Give me a call when you're established
cruising
on the left base, please.
Is
we'll call when we're on the left base. United
275. Should be 360.
Delta 131. I got a reroute for you. Advise ready to copy the Philly.
Delta 131 is ready.
And our center of gravity is.
Alright, Delta 131, you're cleared to the Philadelphia International Airport via the Newark 5 departure to Solberg, VOR, that's Sierra Bravo Juliet, to Busky transition,
and now we're down to the
Waypoint Busky intersection, sorry, it's Bravo Uniform Sierra Kilo Yankee, direct Pottstown VOR, Papa Tango Whiskey, direct destination. On departure, maintain 2,500. Expect flight level 18010 minutes after departure. Departure's offline. Squawk 4502 4502.
And that'll give us our trim. And we can enter the.
We are cleared to Philadelphia via the Newark 5 departure. Solberg VOR, Busky intersection, Pottstown, then direct. Maintain 2,500 after departure, flight level 180, expect flight level 180, 10 minutes after departure, and squawk 4502.
That's over our gross weight, so that wouldn't
Delta 131, reback is correct. Push and engine start to your discretion, call me taxi.
Gross weight is 194.
Push and start to my discretion, and I'll call you for taxi, Delta 131.
Say 193. How much fuel will we lose taxiing? And we will be able to subtract from that. So that's 700 pounds. So we have 193, that's 7. Wait, no, I'm tripping. 193, that's move 4. I meant to say. There we go. It's more accurate. Take off weights. Send brief was off a little bit. With that. Brief flight complete. And we can come over here and pretty much go through the cockpit preparation. So that would start with the circuit breakers, none are popped, oxygen mask, and I will refer to the paper too. I will open that page probably in a second. It's because I don't fully know offhand the entire checklist. I know what comes next. Definitely the IRS mode selectors.
And United 275 Newark Tower, no need to call. Newark wind 29011 goes 27, runway 29, clear to land. Clear to land, runway 29er. United 275.
AP is already running, so yeah. As it's open, I'll just skip that. Generator continuous switches.
Newark Tower, just a heads up, Delta 131 has to step away for a second. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
No worries, sir.
Alright, and now over here, emergency exit lights armed, window heats on, engine start switch 1, odd day. Engine start switches off. Fuel pumps are off. Anti-ice not needed. Position light is on. Or better yet, let's actually, nope. Here we go. We can that'll be more realistic. Let's actually just switch back to the, I did not need to do that. Alright. So over here, seatbelts that can come on. We have our fuel on board as well. Pressurization panel auto rates is set to the detent triangle. And mode select is on auto 1. The landing elevation in Newark is 30. And also let me come over here and click on the ATIS, just because the prepare through, when I tune ATIS and prepare 3D, it likes to play the sim ATIS, and I don't know how to turn that off in the settings. I'm not really on prepare 3D all that much, so I don't know all of the settings 100%. So just to save time, we are going to click, we have information vector, altimeter 3019 3019, and we have 22 left, so we have a runway change. 22 left for departure, 29 for approach. Even though SimBrief did give us 29. SimBrief is not always perfect with predicting runways and or runway changes. Or you know what, maybe the winds are expected to change. Oh yeah. So runways we might expect a change. And am I using the current time? Let me make sure I have the live time set in the sim. Just some time. Perfect. I did not disconnect this from VATSIM. Perfect. So we'll probably expect 29, and we'll have that tailwind instead of a crosswind.
United 275, well done. Taxi 2, parking via Whiskey 2. And actually, yeah, Whiskey 2, let's see, where are you parking actually, United 275?
We are parking at Alpha 14 today.
Okay, so you're going a long way. Okay, make a left turn on the Yankee, right turn uniform, and then Alpha to parking with me.
So you left on Yankee, and then a right onto, you said, onto Alpha?
It's going to be a left, right, left. So left turn on Yankee, right, uniform, left, Alpha.
Alright, and also we come over here, look
left
at the
on Yankee, right on uniform,
panel.
and then Alpha.
Packs are running.
Yeah, I guess you could say it's like live, right, live.
Perfect. Now I did not 100% perfectly brief the cockpit preparation, or the pre-flight rather. So yeah. Well, all of these are checked. So maybe let's go over it. Circuit breakers checked, oxygen tested, IRS is off the nav, hydraulic panel sets, air conditioning, pressurization sets auto, window heat is on, flights instruments, heading and altitude. Then come over here and set all of that. Our speed. Oh, actually, no. Yeah. Heading and altitude. That's all this sets. So I will set those bugs. Throttle's closed. Fuel control switches are off. Gear pin removed, and parking brake over here is set. Perfect. Alright. Now at this point, I want to actually go into Navigraph and pull up our flight plan and brief the charts. Pull up the charts rather. Alright, I have this up now. If we take a look, this will be our takeoff runway. This is runway 29, 288. And if we get 22 left, then this would be our runway 22 left. Let's go over to the briefing. Not 100% sure whether we'll get 22 left or 29. Let's brief 29 first, and it's simpler as well. Climb heading 288 to DME 1.4, and left turn heading 265, maintain 3000. If we get 22 left, we'll climb the runway heading, which is 219. 500 feet, left turn, heading 190, DME 2.3, and then right turn, heading 220, maintain 2,500 feet. Alright, pretty simple departure. And that's what we're going to plan for. Don't have an ATIS change because I am a little bit late on the departure rather. So I have information Victor, and that's calls for a takeoff from runway 22 left, 22 left. So let's enter 219. And let's put our V2 speed on there, on the speed bug. And let's make that change as well in here. Departures, 22 left. 22 left for us. Should have looked at the routes. Alright, alright. And our takeoff speeds are still the same. Okay, great. Alright, alright. Now start the before start checklist. Well, first,
Attention all aircraft, Newark Tower will be closing in 30 minutes.
And talk to, alright, that's enough time for us to get out of here. Before they close. Sam wants to lag now. Perhaps that won't be enough time. Okay, what is going on? Oh, and also I forgot about that squawk. No. And call departure on our way out. Let's talk to the passenger. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking from the flight deck. Welcome aboard United's flight 2698 bound for Chicago O'Hare. On behalf of myself and the rest of the flight crew, I'd love to thank you all very much for choosing to fly with us. But as a first, let's go over the safety procedures a little bit. First things first, please keep your seatbelts fastened securely as long as the seatbelt signs are illuminated. And we do encourage you to still keep them on. Even when the seatbelt signs are switched off, but when the seatbelt signs are not illuminated, You may also feel free to visit the lavatory or move out the cabin as you wish. When we depart from the gates, the flight attendants will go over all of the safety features and the safety procedures to take in the unlikely events of an emergency. Oh my god, what am I saying? Anyway, let me continue this. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask one of our lovely crew members. Once again, thank you all for choosing to fly with us, and we hope you have a safe and enjoyable flight. That's coming off. Alright. At this point, we can request clearance. I have our clearance. Alright. Newark Tower, good afternoon. United 2698 is ready to copy IFR to Chicago O'Hare with information Victor. Altimeter is 3019.
And Delta 2698, unfortunately, I have you logged in as Delta 2697. If you want to relog there, I can probably pull up your flight plan for you.
That's strange. It's weird. How does he have me logged as a Delta?
United 2698, my apologies. Newark Tower, you here?
Affirm.
That's my sincere apologies, sir. Sorry, there's a Delta 2697 and a 2698. So my apologies. United 2698, Newark Tower, you're clear to the Chicago O'Hare Airport via the Newark 5 departure vectors as Newark 5 departure as filed. Maintain 2,500. Expect flight level 360. 10 minutes after departure. Departures offline. Squawk 1066.
Newark 5 departure. Maintain 2,500. Expect flight level 360 2 minutes after departure. Departure frequency offline. And what is the squawk code again? Sorry, I missed that.
United 2698, squawk 1066. The rest of the reback is correct.
Squawk 1066.
United 2698, reback.
Alright. 1066. Alright, there we go.
JetBlue 900 requesting IFR to Boston 5.
JetBlue 900, Newark Tower, good afternoon. You're clear to the Boston Logan Airport via the Newark 5 departure as filed. Maintain 2,500. Expect flight level 210, 10 minutes after departure. Squawk 7161, 7161 for JetBlue 900.
Don't have any fuel in the center tanks, we can leave them off.
Cleared to Boston via the Newark 5 departure. Flight maintain 020. Expect 210, 10 minutes after departure. Squawking 7161.
United 900, reback is correct. And push enter start your discretion. Call me taxi.
That course.
Pushing back on discretion. Calling for taxi.
209.
JetBlue 1901. Requesting our for clearance to Boston with information Victor on board.
JetBlue 1901 Newark Tower, you're clear to the Boston Logan Airport via the Newark 5 departure as filed. Maintain 2,500. Expect flight level 210, 10 minutes after departure. Squawk 1556.
Clear to Boston via the Newark 5 departure. Expect to come at 250 or 025. And then climb at 210, 10 minutes after departure, squawking 1556.
So entry doors and
JetBlue
cargo
1901,
doors.
reback is correct. Pushing in, just start your discretion. Call me taxi.
We'll call for taxi, push to start our discretion, JetBlue 1901.
Newark Tower, Delta 131, we have Victor and are requesting taxi.
Delta 131, Newark Tower, runway 22 left at Whiskey, and Delta 131, hold your position.
Is 388, 388.
At Whiskey, hold position, Delta 131.
And Delta 131, disregard, hold your position at your current location, please. I need to check an MBI real fast.
Roger, holding position.
Right about there.
What runway are we taking off from?
At Delta 131, your choice, runway 4 right or runway 29 departure. Newark wind, tree 011, gust 21.
Alright, let's brief over the before start checklist.
We can take
Alright,
29er.
fuel.
Okay, Delta 131, runway 29.
23.9.
Via Bravo, Kilo,
Also close the cockpit door.
Romeo.
Lights. There we go.
Cross, hold short, runway 29.
Taxi via
Seatbelts
Bravo,
are on,
Kilo,
door lights
Romeo,
out.
hold short, runway 29
RCP,
for Delta 131.
all set.
And the aircraft calling
Speed
what
at the
runway
rates.
for departure.
Runway heading
Standard
29
departures are going to be
and
runway
initial
4
altitude
right, but if you
2500.
prefer runway 29, just state it on request for taxi.
Air conditioning and pressure. Wait, no, I'm in the wrong checklist. Okay. Takeoff thrust. Toga. That Toga. We're doing Toga today. Takeoff speeds. V1, VREF, V2 are set. CDU pre-flight complete. Completed. Tram is set. Tram 3.88. Taxi and takeoff briefing complete. And we can now turn the beacon on. Let's first. No, the target's connected. Let's actually request push and starts. Newark Tower United 2698 is ready for pushback.
United 2698, push and engine start to your discretion. Call me for taxi. Newark wind, tree 011, gust 21. Runway's your choice, runway 29 or 4 right. Just let me know on taxi request.
Roger, push at discretion and change of winds.
Envoy 3620 Newark Tower, stand by for the PDC, please.
Runway choice. I think I'm going to stick with 22 left just for passive pressure time. For that I'm not. Well, actually, this may call for 29 now. Yeah.
Newark Tower Unit 2096 is at 4,500 direct to pattern for the Arnav Whiskey runway 29.
They just trust a sim brief, huh? So
yeah,
going back to
29 2096 heavy Newark Tower. My apologies. Roger. Advise when you're established on the right base. I'm going to have traffic departing runway 29 today.
Roger, we'll call you on right base 3 United 2096.
Envoy 3620 PDC was sent, and push and engine start your discretion. Are you voice receive only, or are you text pilot only? I mean, obviously you're receiving, but are you also communicating?
Yeah, we're voice. We just wanted to get PDC. That was it.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Yeah. We'll call you back later.
Cool. Delta 131 at Whiskey, cross runway 29, right turn Zulu, cross runway 22 right and runway 22 left.
At Whiskey, cross runway 29, right on Zulu, cross 22 right and 22 left.
Tower, hello, United 1893, direct pattern for North Whiskey approach runway 9er.
Oh, what I did.
United 1893, Newark Tower, good evening. Traffic 11 to 12 o'clock, less than 4 miles is a Boeing Heavy 777. Report traffic in sight.
Why is it doing that
Traffic
closing?
inside minimum approach.
There it is.
United 1893.
United 1893, Roger. Follow the traffic for runway 29, please.
Following traffic, runway 29, United 1893.
Going to make a...
Newark Tower, Convoy 3620. What runway do we expect today?
Envoy 3620, you can expect runway,
charts, actually.
your choice, Newark wind, 33011, gust 21, runway 29 or runway 4 right.
The route of runway over this way, so...
Delta 131, Newark wind, 33011, gust 21, runway 29, clear for takeoff.
Release parking brake.
Clear for takeoff, runway 29, Delta 131.
Push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Alright.
New York, this is Delta 2697, we're request on our clearance to Los Angeles.
Delta 2697, Heavy, Newark Tower, good afternoon. You're cleared to the Los Angeles International Airport via the Newark 5 departure as filed. Maintain 2,500, expect flight level 40010 minutes after departure. Squawk 1627.
Star switches are up here. Thinking about Airbus.
Clear to Los Angeles, where the New York 5 departure. Initial altitude is 2,500. Final altitude is flight level 400, and squawk is 1627 for Delta 2697.
Delta 2697, readback is correct. Give me a call when you're ready for pushback so I can get you pushed onto Alpha, please.
Airplane, just ignore this.
I'll call you for pushback, Delta 2697.
JetBlue 1901, rear right for taxi.
JetBlue 1901, runway 29 or runway 4 right for departure?
We'll take 4 right.
Okay, JetBlue 1901, making my life easy today. Runway 4 right, taxi via Alpha 10, November Bravo, and hold short of runway 22 right at Victor, please.
Alright, so we have a good start on engine.
Taxiing holding point Alpha, or taxi via Alpha 10, November Bravo, hold short 22 right at Victor, JetBlue 1901.
Let's check our trim as well. What does the stabilizer trim look like?
Delta 131, change to advisory, train suit approved. Have a great flight over to Philadelphia. We'll see you next time.
The warning about.
Over to advisory and have a great day, Delta 131.
Thanks, sir.
United 2096 is on a red base for runway 29.
United 2096 Heavy.
I forgot about that.
Newark wind 33011, gust 21, runway 29, clear to land.
Runway 29, clear to land, United 2096.
Oh, I thought that was not working for some reason. Alright, we have good engine start, that's right. Let me turn off the APU first before I get rid of the tug. Oh, and the isolation valve comes off too.
Cockpit to ground.
Starts.
We have a good engine start.
Go
You can disconnect.
15.
Unlocking gear.
And check our flight controls. Left. Center right, center up, center down, center rudder left, center right, center. Flight controls are free and correct. But that was another aircraft for a second, I was about to say. Close. And now let's read the before start checklist. See if we missed anything. Or after start rather, before taxi. And before taxi. Propede is on, anti-ice not needed as required. Isolation valve is off. Fuel control switches remain locked. Flight deck door is closed, checklist complete. And we can go to before taxi. Wait. Let's clear that over here. Clear the recall and recall it again. The cat's off, so TARI and recall that for the parking brake is clean. Alright, before taxi, let's continue the checklist. Recall checked, flight controls checked, flaps 15 for takeoff, auto brake rejected takeoff, speed brake lever down the tent, and ground equipment is clear. And we're about to get the hand signal. Here we go.
JetBlue 900 requesting taxi.
I'm gonna step over him. I'm gonna step over the other aircraft. Wait till you get his clearance.
JetBlue 900 requesting taxi.
JetBlue 900 standby. JetBlue 900 standby coordination.
Stand by.
And JetBlue 900, standby, JetBlue 901 at Victor, cross runway 22 right onto Papa, hold short of runway 4 right at Papa 1. It's going to be a minute. I got an aircraft inbound for runway 29.
Sounds all good. We'll cross runway 22 right and right onto Papa and then hold short 4 right at Papa 1, JetBlue 901.
JetBlue 900, runway 4 right, taxi via Alpha 10 November, Bravo, Victor, Papa 1. Cross runway 22 right.
Taxi to runway 4 right via Alpha 10 November, Victor, Papa, cross runway 22 right.
Yeah, JetBlue 900, JetBlue 1901. No need to acknowledge. New departure frequency is 119.2.
Newark Tower, United 2698, requesting taxi.
United 2698, Newark Tower, runway 4 right, taxi straight ahead right, Bravo. I'll have further for you.
4 right, taxi straight ahead, Bravo.
United 2096 Heavy, taxi to parking via Whiskey 2, Whiskey Romeo Mike Bravo.
And then we get 4 rights.
Whiskey 2, Whiskey Romeo Mike Bravo for United 29 or 2096.
4 right, wow. So yeah, let me change that again. Probably would have gotten 29.
Delta 2697 is ready for pushback when start up.
Delta 2697 Heavy, pushback onto Alpha is approved. Engine start is at your discretion. Thanks.
4 right. right.
Engine automatic compression and push back into Alpha is also approved for Delta 2697.
Make sure we have no issues. Okay.
And United 2698, Bravo's going to be your second right-hand turn, sir.
Bravo, second hand right turn. Alright. And briefing real quick, if we can go over that.
United 1892, right base runway 29.
United 1893.
To 500.
United 1893, Newark wind 330 at 11, gust 21, runway 29 are clear to land.
Climbing left turn, heading to 90. Westbound at about 2500, climbing team 3000.
Delta 2697 Heavy and United 2698, new departure frequency 119.2, no need to acknowledge, thanks.
039. A lot of runway changes.
And United 2698, you alright down there? I haven't seen you move yet.
Sorry about that. I'm just changing the runways in my FMC. I had runway 29 entered. I'm changing to 4 rights.
And JetBlue 1901 Newark Tower.
Yeah, okay.
And JetBlue 1901, new departure instructions. You're going to climb via the SID, expect flight level 210 and 10, departure frequency 19.2.
Okay, 210, departure frequency 119.2. JetBlue 1901.
And JetBlue 1901, just confirm it's going to be climbed via the SID.
Where is
yeah, I'll climb via the SID, JetBlue 1901.
Okay. JetBlue 900, missed a turn there for Victor. Make the next left turn.
Yeah, 4
onto Charlie Charlie, cross runway 22 right, left turn Papa.
Turn next left on Charlie Charlie and then on Papa.
Right. Alright. Takeoff speeds did not change, so.
Envoy 3620, you on frequency.
And we can start our taxi now. That changed in here.
And JetBlue 900, advise ready to copy new departure instructions.
Just give me 1 sec. Let me just stop right here.
Roger.
That's why it's lagging. Okay.
JetBlue 900 ready, copy.
Stand by. United 1893, left turn Whiskey 2 there, the high speed, the next high speed, Whiskey 2 Whiskey, Romeo Mike, Bravo, depart.
Right.
Whiskey 2 Whiskey, Romeo Bravo, depart, United 1893.
United 1893, that's uniform there, uniform Alpha to parking, with me is approved as well.
I go too fast.
JetBlue 1901, Newark Tower, runway 4 right, line up white.
Runway 4 right, JetBlue 1901.
JetBlue 900, on departure, climb via the SID, expect flight level 210, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.2.
Climb via the SID to 201. 210.
JetBlue 1901, Newark wind, tree 0 at 11, gust 21, runway 4 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff for right, JetBlue 1901.
United 2698, new departure instructions for you, advise ready to copy.
We're ready to copy.
United 2698 on departure, climb via the SID, expect flight level 210, 10 minutes after departure, departure frequency 119.2.
Climb via SID, expect flight level 210. And what is the departure frequency again?
And departure frequency 119.2, United 2698.
119.2 on departure.
United 2698, reback correct. JetBlue 900, runway 4 right, line up and wait. It's going to be a minute for miles and trail.
Line wait 4 right, and about.
JetBlue 1901, squawk 1556, please.
Squawking 1556.
JetBlue 1901 with squawk 1556, contact departure 119.2.
We'll call on departure at this frequency.
Okay. Bravo.
United 1893.
Yes.
And United 1893, go ahead, tower.
Could you say taxi route, please?
United 1893, you can taxi straight ahead on uniform and then left turn onto Alpha. I presume you're parking at the Charlie Concourse?
Sure. United 1893.
Okay. JetBlue 900, Newark wind and tree 0 at 11, gust 21, runway 4 right, clear to land. Or, correction, JetBlue 900, runway 4 right, clear for takeoff, sir.
Clear takeoff. Runway 4 right. JetBlue 900.
Delta 2697 Heavy, new departure instructions, advise ready to copy.
Say again for Delta 2697?
Yeah, Delta 2697 Heavy, new departure instructions, advise ready to copy.
Already. Delta 2697.
Delta 2697 Heavy on departure, you're going to climb via the SID, expect flight level 400, 10 minutes after departure, departure frequency 119.2.
Climb by the SID, the altitude is 400, flight level 400, and the departure frequency is 119.2 for Delta 2697.
Delta 2697 Heavy, readback is correct. Let me know when you're ready for taxi, please.
Delta 2697 is ready for taxi.
Alright, Delta 2697 Heavy, runway 4 right, taxi via Alpha, November, hold short of runway 22 right.
Taxi to runway 4 right, via Alpha, November, and I'm holding short runway 22 right.
United 2698 Tower, I haven't forgot about you, runway 4 right, continue taxi via Bravo, November, cross runway 22 right.
Continue taxi, Bravo November, cross to the right.
And United 2698, once you cross runway 22 right at November, you can make a right turn Papa for Papa 1.
After crossing to the right, right turn Papa for Papa 1. Right here.
JetBlue 900, contact departure 119.2.
Contact and departure 119, decimal 2.
I need to see my charts. I'm not 100% familiar with this airport. 10-9. Oh yeah, Bravo November. Yeah, let's not make the wrong turn. Bravo November, right turn, Papa, and yeah, on the Papa one. Almost made the wrong turn.
Newark Tower, good afternoon. United 70 Heavy, requesting our partners as well.
United 70 Heavy, Newark Tower, good evening. Clearance on requesting by.
And Newark Tower, Envoy 3620, push back.
United, Envoy 3620, new departure instructions, advise ready to copy.
Stand by.
And Envoy 3620, was that to go ahead or was that standby?
It was standby. I'm just trying to find pen and paper.
United 70 Heavy, clearance available, advise ready to copy.
Ready to copy, 70 Heavy.
November.
United 70 Heavy, you're cleared to the Echo Hotel Alpha Mike Airport via the Newark 5 departure as filed. Climb via the SID, expect flight level tree 70, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.2, squawk 1752.
Clear to answer on the Newark for departure as filed. Climb via SID, expect level 370, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.2, squawk 1752, United 70 Heavy.
United 70 Heavy, readback is correct. Push and then to start your discretion, call for taxi.
We'll call for taxi, United 70 Heavy.
Delta 2697 Heavy at November, cross runway 22 right. Continue taxi via Papa or Papa 1.
Alright, November, I'm crossing the runway 22 right and continue on Papa 1 to runway 04 right. Delta 2697.
And we're for takeoff briefing.
Envoy 3620, new departure instructions on departure. Climb via the SID, expect flight level.
Let's taxi a little bit further up.
300, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.2.
Cabin ready.
Roger that. And on departure, climb via SID, expect flight level 330, 10 minutes after departure, and departure frequency 119.2.
Envoy 3620, readback is correct. Call me when you're ready for taxi. Use caution, a Boeing 75 is coming into the ramp.
Roger that, we'll caution Boeing. Roger. 3620.
And that's Papa 1, so forward takeoff checklist.
United 1366 Newark Tower. Have you been trying to call me? I'm sorry.
I said taxi instructions. Takeoff briefing complete, and let's get the cabin ready. Cabin seats for takeoff. Okay, cabin's ready. One, holding short for right.
United 2698, Newark wind tree 3011, gust 21, runway 4 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff for right. Alright, here we go. And we're out. Yeah, alright. And all the throttle on. Let's not forget that. Throttle armed. I'll break it a little bit. oversteer. And brakes on to work on. Turn and burn. Classic turn and burn. Alright. Did not start the clock. Alright, set takeoff bus. Ooh, classic Rolls Royce engines. It sounds so beautiful.
8 knots.
8 knots. Alright. Slight
Delta 2697 Heavy, runway 4 right. Line up and wait. Caution wait turbulence. Previous departure, Boeing 75.
Line up and wait on runway 04 right for Delta 2697.
Positive rate, gear up. Speed check for laps 5. Actually, we can go flap 0 rather.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night. Bye bye.
This airplane climbs.
United 2698, contact departure 119.2.
Over to departure 119.2. And should turn on autopilots. Doing some things here in mod sim, deciding to lag.
Delta 2697 Heavy, Newark, wind treacher 011, gust 21, runway 4 right, clear to land. Or clear, correction. Runway 4 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff for 04 right for Delta 26.
And I did not fly that pressure 100% correctly, so. I'm going to the stand. Not fly the approach 100% correctly. And then he gave me the correct. Oh yep, 109.2. Newark departure. United 2698 is with you at 4,000.
United 2698 Newark departure at a contact. Turn left heading 320, call them maintain 10,000.
Maintain 10,000, and what's the left turn heading again? Sorry, I just missed that.
310.
310. And I put the flaps all the way up. 310. Here we go. And we're going to climb to 10,000. And we don't really have any speed restrictions, so I can go to 250. My frames to pick up. Alright, at the takeoff, pretty sure the checklist is landing gear up and flaps up, and altimeter sets 3019er.
Departure to Delta 2697, passing 2000.
Delta 2697, Newark departure at our contact, turn left heading 270, call that maintain 8000.
Turn left to heading 270 and maintain 8000, Delta 269D7.
United 2698, proceed direct coats, call and maintain 17000.
Proceed direct coats, climb 17000.
Newark approach, good day. Spirit Wings 2652 entering your airspace at flight level 7000.
Spirit Wings 2652, I'm only covering departure, so you can call Newark Tower when you're on final.
Roger, Spirit Wings 2652, thank you.
Delta 2697, proceed direct ZIM, call and maintain 17000.
Unable to.
Proceed. Say again for Delta 2697.
Delta 2697, proceed direct ZIMS, call and maintain 17,000.
Go direct to ZIMS and then climb and maintain 170, flight level 170 for 2697.
There was some lag as well. Also, I'll turn up the range. Alright, heading codes. So frames pick up. Maybe I'll go outside now. Maybe the frames are a little bit better. Alright, we're passing 10,000. So alright, turn offs coming off, and taxi light can come off. And I think the landing lights, let's verify they come off now. Oh, that's not. Yeah, they do.
United 2698, leaving my airspace, monitor Unicom.
Over to Unicom and thank you for the ATC. Alright.
That was for 2698, but I guess Delta 2697, you can head over to Unicom as well.
Affirmative, switching Unicom, sorry for that. So Delta 2697.
No worries.
Settings a little bit.
November 8-9er, automated weather observation. 210-9er, Zulu.
Wow, that's strange.
2, 6, and 8.
Not on the 8 says.
Greater than 20 miles. Sky condition clear. Temperature 2 Celsius.
That's strange.
Dew point 2 Celsius. Altimeter
and at this point, it's going up to 360.
Automated weather observation. 210-9er, Zulu. Wind 0, 2, 6, and 8. Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky condition clear. Temperature 2 Celsius. Dew point 2 Celsius. Altimeter 3023. November 8-9er, automated weather
seatbelts can come off. Seatbelt signs, insertion of auto ride.
023. November 8-9er, automated weather observation. 210.
I don't know what that's about.
Wind 0. 023.
Huh. That's strange. Alright, whoa. Yeah, that's alright. It's also... This is Unicom. Why is it playing ATIS? And also, I do not know how to turn off the default ATC. And it's a little bit annoying.
November 8-Niner, automated weather observation, 210-Niner, Zulu, wind 026 at 8, visibility greater than 20 miles,
5-0,
sky condition clear, temperature 2 Celsius, dew point 2 Celsius, altimeter 3023, November 8-Niner, automated weather observation, 210-Niner,
Why is that playing in Unicom?
026 at 8, visibility greater than 20 miles, sky condition clear, temperature
I'm going to
2
guard.
Celsius, dew point 2 Celsius, altimeter 3023, November 8th,
That's kind of
automated weather observation, 210-Niner, Zulu, wind 026 at 8, visibility greater than 20 miles, sky condition
Just so
clear.
you guys are not hearing that during the flights. Because that's kind of dumb. Don't know why the default ATC plays Unicom. I don't know why the default ATC plays the ATIS rather on Unicom. That's strange. Well, let's get some screenshots. Could have gotten some. Still some screenshots. Duration of flight, I'll sit in the flight deck since I'm still flying online. At this point, since I'm not really communicating with anybody else, I will unkey my mic. Alright, back on the mic. I'm back on the mic just because we're getting a little bit closer to our top of descent. As we can see, we are about, let's see, we're 95 miles from our top of descent, so a good time to start briefing for our arrival and everything, our arrival and things. So let's get to that now. So, let's see. Let's actually go to O'Hare. Booking charts, airports, charts. Oops. So we go to our arrivals. We'll be taking the wind tube. And we can look at the briefing for runway 10s to 10 runways. Runway 10s, left, center, and rights. From tubes, from tubs, track 09. What was that? What did I just do? Anyway, we're going to track tubes, or tubs rather. Which will be over here on 197 to Monks, then 073 to Georgia, and then vectors to final. Nice and easy. So let's make sure we have that info. We do. Should. Yep, tubes. Then Monks. Then we go vectors to the runway. Alright, the info is in there. Perfect. Let's go to the approach now. Onto center. Let's start with the let's before we get to the Mr. Bruce briefing, all the info over here. Chicago approach would be 119. That's from 0, but they are offline. So the localizer will be 108.95. Final approach course 093, that is the one we're heading, and we can see all of the info here as well. And our ILS, which is nights, will be 869 above sea level. Airport elevation is 680 feet, 680 feet. And so Mr. Burst briefing now. Climb to 4,000, heading 093. Inbound to Charlie Golf Tango. Your right turn, heading 336. Oh no, that would be a left turn. I'm tripping. It's that. What our approach will be looking like. Perfect. Let's over here. How many miles to the top percent? That should be about like 60, I believe. Here's the arrival performance page. I forgot what it was. It should have been in there. have a performance calculator, but I do want to look at the length of the runway. It's the runway, because I don't think it's set so. Let's see, it's set to 2300. Let me look in the taxi. The taxi page. Runway 10. Center 10,800. And that's enough fee for us. And the 777. That's a 777. This is a 757. So I will go for Emirates 2. Emirates 2. And call it a day. We will take flaps 30. Perfect. Here we go. And the ILS frequency is correct and everything, and they're ready. Perfect. And I want to go back to the arrival. Restrictions, so then descend down to 4,000. Like a restriction closest to the approach. I will reset 4,000. Or rather 19,000 for now. That's still about the transition level. Sky. Not really recording that. Using Rex Weather Force, that's for, it's pretty much active sky, but for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Well, I can actually search the weather. Oh, I guess that doesn't work. Tried to pull that up. I will search the weather myself, perhaps. See what we come up with. Hey, where did my audio just go? My sim audio. Oh, sim must have paused. pay for this. Alright, so actually got the altimeter off of here. Ground pressure 3020. ADR.com. Pretty neat. So, and basically like that. So once we get lower, perhaps. And send it 4,000. So let's actually do that. Zero to zero. And we're increasing speed. Oh, not really. We have to slide them. We have to consider that. It's not over speed. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. And let's turn on the seatbelt signs at this point as well. My sim is starting to lag. Notice that I do have to run my settings a little bit closer to the ground. The auto ATC though on Batson advising it to maintain 9,000. But you know what? Really don't have any restrictions, so I want to continue all the way down to 4,000 while still using VNAV. And we need to start slowing down. I see the airplane should start slowing itself down. Because we're about to pass 10,000. Can't be above 250 knots. So it should start slowing down a little bit. Yup, drag required. And we'll just speed brake out. And now we're losing airspeed at nice rates. Good rates. The airplane still is a rocket. He wants to go fast. 240 knots. Yep. Let's slow to that. And we can kind of speed brakes down at this point. I should have went over the checklist. I did just forget that. Alright, descent, pressurization, landing altitude. Oh, I almost forgot that. Wow. It will be 680, 680. Perfect. Alright, seatbelts on. Recall. Doing this checklist a little bit late. Funky little cook spots. Alright, recall is clean. Auto brake. As required, landing data, we have the VREF and minimums are set. And approach briefing complete. Alright. And we can really start our approach checklist right about now, actually. Alright. Altimeter is 3020. You set on standby. What's going on? Drag. Airplane wants drag. Yeah, because we're speeding. We're over speeding a little bit here. Okay. Pro checklist, altimeter 3020 and navigator sets. Let's fix this here. And we're feeling that it's a little bit of turbulence that we talked about on the ground in Newark. Okay. The plane is handling it pretty well. Alright. Forgot those landing lights, didn't I? And runway turn-offs. Shall come on at this point too. At this point, I'll consider slowing down to 120 knots. We'll open the speed window. Alright. Yeah. And it won't strike for that. We're already adding enough. Huh? Okay. Oh, yeah, speed breaks down. My sim is lagging. And we can really use level change points or vertical speed. Alright, so we're at 4,000. And we can really start slowing down. Let's slow down to a flap speed. No, let's continue descending. Increase that rate of descent a little bit, perhaps. There we go. And at this point, we can consider starting our final turns and everything, and turn on the localizer. So let's do that. And slow down to a flat speed. And with that, let's arm that localizer. That's 205 on that flat speed. So speed check flaps coming out. Flaps are coming out. At this point, we can really consider descending to 3,000. Let's see. Vertical speed. Flaps 5. And 180 knots. Speed check flaps 5, 180 knots. Localizer on.
2,500.
Chubby. Yeah, that's actually, yeah. 93. Or perhaps we can direct to execute that. And I don't know why I keep saying insufficient fuel. We had 7.5 on board left. I don't need to answer that. Okay. Where's the approach ref? 108.95. Oh wow, this is wrong. If I manually tune it. This should capture. LNAV. Hit the LNAV. Let's look at it there. That view. So 10 miles from rudder. Okay. And if we take a second look at so I can cross-check the approach and everything. Let's take another look. Alright, so the approach should start at Ray. We want to be at 300 there. Okay. And I'm not even recording fish. Alright, that's okay. Slow down to 160 this point. Oh, no. Let's continue with flaps 5 till we get flights. Yeah. $108.95. Continue with that. And let's pre-select 93 on the heading, but and my sim is like, okay, here it is. Alright, we're back. At this point, I want to arm the localizer. It's a capture. It should be. Localizer. Alright, we have the localizer. Here we go. And let's arm approach mode at these points.
Traffic.
And we have traffic.
Descend.
Right.
Descend. Clear of descend. Descend.
Where is the traffic coming from? I surely don't see it. Alright, I'm in approach
Clear
mode.
of conflict.
Airplane is now going to descend, and I have to localize it, so yeah, don't know. May have to exit the approach. Plane seems not want to capture the localizer for some reason. I definitely have it. It's not one to capture. Alright, we're on the glide slope. Because what is going on? Why is it? Alright, we're on the glide slope. But we are high though. No, we're not. Perfect. Perfect. I'm just seeing this throwing off a little bit. Alright. Oh, air traffic. United 2698 on final 10 miles out, runway 10 center. Alright, this point we can go for laps 15 and then speed check 160 knots. 160 knots. And we, at this point, we can go landing down, and then flaps 25. Oh, flaps 20, 25, 30. And we can go to a V speed. Plus 5. 130 knots. And also landing checklist. Cabin secure, speed brake lever. On that, landing gear down through green and flaps 0. Come on. Passenger seats for landing. Alright, here we go. it just said cabin seats for landing, and my sim's lagging a lot. Come on. Doing a lot of lagging here. On final. Alright, there we go. There we go. Things back in business. And at this point, I want to turn off the autopilot. And the auto throttle. And we're coming down. Nice and easy.
500.
A little bit high though.
Minimums.
Continue. Ooh.
100.
Oh.
50. 40. 30. 20.
Ooh.
10.
It was a little, it wasn't that bad. Versus. Alright, versus out. And speed brakes out. Perfect. And we're under 60 knots. We don't really need those reverses anymore. And we're going to exit the runway here. Very bad landing. Dang, my airplane just came to a complete stop on that runway. Alright. Runway vacated. Runway vacated. And we're gonna stop. Well, we're not gonna come to a complete stop. Let's vacate the runway, get the whole aircraft off the runway. Oh, air traffic. Runway 10 center vacated. United 2698. Right, landing lights off.
Message
Lights
showing
and
your broadcasting
installation.
on guard frequency. Check your transmission.
Oh, oops. Yeah, I just forgot about that. My apologies. Oh, I was on the guard the whole time. Because I forgot. I turned it on because of the annoying ATIS on Unicom that I was getting, which was also really weird. Yeah. Alright, alright. We're off the runway. So that's landing checklist briefing. There's that airplane about to go. Let me let him go ahead of me. Let me get out the checklist. After landing, ANTI as required, APU as required. I'm going to turn it on. Auto brake is off, speed brake lever, we're going to put that down. And then flaps and weather radar, just clean up the aircraft, that's alright. Speed brake lever is down, and weather radar off. Oh, I thought I had that on, huh? And I don't know what this other aircraft is doing. Why is he sitting there on the ramp? Ideally, I would want to give way to him, but I don't really know what he's doing. Okay, now he's moving. I want to give way. Oh wait, what is he doing? What is this aircraft doing? Other way, please. Where are you going? I would like to take taxiway if I can see that. Not 100% too familiar with O'Hare now. Foxtrots. Oh no. Echo. And then I can taxi to the Bravo gates. Wait, they would actually be over there. I want to go to an exit ramp. Echo. Yeah. I'm just gonna follow. Well, probably not gonna completely follow this guy. I don't know what he's doing. Tried to come this way against me. At this point, we can get the AP1, perhaps. How to clear this? How do I clear that? Disengage. Not. That'll be approach button. Alright. Flight directors. Here we go. Flight directors off. Still getting that, so why not just cancel it? Not letting me. That's strange. Alright, let me talk to the passengers. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Chicago O'Hare. As a reminder, please keep your seatbelts fastened until the airplane comes to a screech halt at the gates. Once again, thank you all very much for choosing to fly with us, and we hope you all have had a safe and enjoyable flight. And we hope to see you again. The current time is 5:31 p.m. and we shall arrive at the gates in about 7 minutes. Echo. Please slow down. My brakes aren't working, huh? Oh, that is not. No, definitely not. Yeah. Follow the 737, company 737. He did just go the right way this time. At 5:32. I'm looking at my alarm clock. Silly me. The real current time would be in Chicago Air would be 5:13 p.m. Because I did set my alarm clock 20 minutes ahead of the actual time. Echo. Yep. I'm gonna make that left turn right there. around that turn a little bit fast. Alright, the actual turn, let's slow it down. We're crossing 10 left. 10 left. Clear left and clear right. Oil traffic, United 2698, crossing 10 left. Other plane just taking off. Can't really see which airline he is. Model matching. By the way, O'Hare does not look bad in P3D. Looks pretty good, actually. Let's follow the company. I think he knows where the terminal is a little bit better than me. Swing it around. Yeah, I think he is going the right way. I'll use the map. Because United's parks in the B gates. That's O'Hare. Well, let me use a follow me car actually. If GSX is still working. Alright. I think it'll be Bravo 17. And that's the only one suitable for a 757. United. We all come to a hold as I wait. Maybe just taxi really slowly. Just still come. Follow me right there. Yeah, I see him. Oh, thought I already had him on. But anyway. Alright. We're going to need to turn around. There we go. Yeah, I see you. Alright, lead me the way. Thank you very much. Ooh. Oh, he was going to start moving a little bit faster. Well, now he's picking up speed. Excuse my language. Alright, we're coming here. Where's our, was that a fuel warning? Where's our fuel actually at? Oh, fuel, okay. On, fuel is like 4.5, 4.7. Definitely have enough to make it to the gates, come on. Oh, that's the airplane acting so dramatic. Already saving sound on the ground, so fuel is not really an issue for us right now. A very long taxi route, Yeah, let's move a little bit faster, perhaps. Yeah. Alright, moving that way. Alright, perfect. Brakes aren't working. I got slammed. Alright. Alright, here we go. Try to take a screenshot. And it goes. Okay, that's. Yeah, still taxiing. Very long taxi routes. Taxiing for about 20 minutes. I never stopped the clock. Yeah. Not taxi too fast in the ramp. Slow it down, slow it down, slow the airplane down. Oh, nope. No. Oops, I messed that up. Huh? Go to the ground anyways. Stop that. I gotta fix the hours. And set the jet way. Is that correct? Taken. 817 taken. Wait, did he just taxi us through the that way? The ramp. Yeah. It's the deal here. Follow me. Where are you taking me? Where's he taking us? Gosh. Oh, there's our gates. There we go. Yeah, found it. This engine's just wants to go, huh? But yeah, I know the 57 is a really high performance airplane. Just wants to go and go. Engines are like rockets. There's RB211s. And they sound beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, we're coming right in. Thank you. It's to follow me. Not go too fast. The airplane is supposed to go. Supposed to roll. Okay. Controller just wants to do what it wants to do. Yeah. .757, I see that. Second to last mark. I should move a little bit closer. I think this is the stop. I'm holding down the brakes before I put on the parking brake. Call it a day. Well, the gates is really close. That way. Like the markings are not 100% in the correct position, so I'll actually stop here. And the APU is running, so we can cut the engines. Wait, no, keep that on. We shut those engines down. Oh, I disconnected the autopilot. I must have to press this again. Alright, there we go. That clears it. Alright. Here we go. We are shutting down here. Three below. Not yet. Header below. Into 20 or EGT 20. Then we can turn off that beacon. And start the ground surfaces to the plane. I think I might have turned on the air conditioning a little bit early as well. I should have waited into the 20 for that as well. Well, I think it was N1 tripping, yeah. N1 is down already. So we can shut off the beacon and request ground surfaces. And the sim's lagging. Yeah, I know. Huh. Request deboarding. No jetway working. Okay. But I'll get the doors open and everything. Airplane ready. Whatever doors they're going to use, I think they're going to use these two.
Passengers deboarding starting.
Oh, and I did not even turn off the seatbelts. Get them off. And there was no smoking. No pumps.
Good evening.
I just forgot to turn them off as well. And the electric hydraulic pumps and the sensor pumps. Dampers coming off, and the adheres as well. Just for the next trip to have a full realignment. Perfect. Kind of all over the place and overhead. But turning things off that are not needed. Okay. And here's where I'm ending the video. Hope you enjoyed. And stay tuned for more. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace. We hit Avatar. No. Yeah, that closes the door. Maybe I should fix the key bindings. But We are down here in O'Hare. I'll see y'all later. Peace.